Hi everyone, the book is My Hand is the Brain, The Story of You by David Eagleman. For myself, being in digital technology for over 20 years, a world traveler, a successful business person and moving into thinking and coaching, I find this book very useful. So decided to share my understanding of the book with all of you. The beauty of this book is that it covers the science, philosophy, the life events and connect it to the past, present and help to find out what comes in our future life. It's amazing that despite being superior to other animals, humans are not born with a developed brain. The brains of other species have well-defined connections of brain cells, neurons, and they know exactly what to do from the beginning. If we call our brain at birth a general purpose computer, then an animal brain is like a video game. Irrespective of how advanced it seems at birth, it is only designed to just do that in its entire life and nothing else. The first chapter of this book is all about the fundamental question, who am I? We define ourselves based on our experiences stored in the form of neuron connections that we call as memory. We relate our memory with the past, but it also shapes our future. Instead of calling time is a big healer or time can fade our memories, we can say new neural networks and connections are killing our memories. If we believe that we retrieve the past from the brain, then it is wrong. It's a reconstruction and not the real events that happened. Brain does not retain exactly what happened as it fills in the gaps of our memory because of newly developed connections and develop a reconstruction or a memory which was not really happened in the past. So if I ask yourself, who am I? Then the answer is based on my reconstructed memory and not the real events and knowledge. So if you define yourself based on your memory, then be sure that this is not exactly you, but a reconstruction of yourself. The second question is about what is reality. To know what reality, listen carefully to this sentence. You don't perceive things around you as they exist. You perceive them as you are. If anyone believes that we experience through our senses is a reality, then the answer is simply wrong. For example, the reality of a blind person is different from a colorblind person. And colorblind person has a different visual reality than a person who can see the complete human visible spectrum. Human visible light constitutes only a tiny fraction of electromagnetic spectrum. We don't see the Wi-Fi signal, infrared waves, and so on, despite such waves exist in reality. And different devices like our phone verify such waves' existence. Our radio verifies that. The reality is this, that colors don't exist. It's only the reflection of light that our biology can recognize. Nothing is changing in the outside, but everyone has its own reality. Even our sense of time distorts. Time differs from event to event. For example, climbers who fell from heights and survived explain timeline dilation. This happens due to ultra-fast brain survival processing compared to normal circumstances. So while others are experiencing a normal clock tick, for the climber, it is a different reality. So what is reality? In simple words, it's like a TV show that only you can write, edit, direct, and then watch it. Generally, when we talk about brain, we mean our conscious brain, which plays a tiny part of what we do in life. Our subconscious or unconscious brain is the one in action all the time. It's almost 80% of the day or 80% of our life we are living an unconscious or subconscious life because this is the brain that is taking care of it. It leads to a basic question in chapter 3 of this book. Who is in control? Unconscious brain is the autopilot of ourselves. We should be thankful to it, but like all other things, we take the subconscious mind as for granted. It's important, get evident that we lost part of it, then we remember it, and then we realize that, oh, how important it was. For example, how hard it becomes if we want to make our conscious brain think about moving our legs and place them on the ground. You can enjoy a cup of coffee with your subconscious mind to bring it to your mouth without your notice, while your conscious mind is busy talking to your friend. After you leave, you remember the talk with your friend, but the efforts done by the unconscious brain remains thankless. Unconscious mind has pre-written programs that makes it effortless when executed. The saying that practice makes perfect is all about firing and wiring neuron connections in your mind or in your brain so much that it becomes a pre-written program in your unconscious mind. Despite unconscious mind is always available to serve us, we cannot undermine the importance of conscious mind, which act like a CEO who is not involved in the micromanagement of unconscious mind as it has bigger tasks to perform in life. However, the CEO, despite believing in control, is dependent on what lies under its unconscious mind. So the importance of both of the minds are there. What you put as your conscious mind inside the subconscious mind, whatever you absorb in it, is going to have an impact on your life. Now this leads to naturally another question, which is also very important, is how do I decide? This is chapter 4 of this book. Now each neuron out of billions of neurons is connected to thousands of other neurons, which means that if you look at the connections of the neurons, it's in trillions. So, which are different connected to thousands of neurons. So making it a loopy, massive network, each neuron is releasing chemicals which can excite and depress our neurons, creates conflict inside the brain. Whenever we decide where there is arrangement which argue, there are arrangement of neurons which curse, the arrangement which persuade, but it's all inside in one brain skull. It's a brain which is inside your skull. So it's not only that brain relies on the information, it already has to decide, but it also has to take feedback from the body. So unlike animals who decide based on the future primary rewards like food, water, and shelter, human behavior is also steered by secondary rewards like appreciation. We value according to our needs, wants, and desire, and then decide. Ideally, we experience all the future possibility in our mind and then come to present to take the right decision. But we cannot travel in time, so the power of now becomes very evident into play. We know that saying a bird in hand is better than two in the bushes. Despite that, if we offer something now which is less than expected future, then we still settle for it. Because our mind can see the future but cannot bring the future to you. And that's the importance of now. But this has a catch, because this can be avoided using Ulysses contract. It's a freely made decision that is designed to bind oneself in the future. For example, if you want your body in shape, then you have to let go delicious, unhealthy, mouth-watering food, because you can visualize yourself in future if you eat all that junk food. We are different persons in different contexts, and not truly rational. So we have to understand that as the decision making requires who we are, what we do, and how we perceive the world around us. By understanding the battle inside the brain and what affects the neuron connections, we can learn to make better decisions for ourselves and for our society. When we say society, then it leads to the question, do I need you? Which means, do I need anyone? Brains should not be studied in isolation. The brain circuitry decodes the emotions of others and mirror in our brain, which is the basis of empathy. Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest does not fit to humans with so much of empathy. When we watch movies, we all know consciously that actors are not actually doing what they are in reality. But the pain and joy they see, they do, we experience it, which create a lot of empathy towards them. So much so that we wish that bad things should not happen in the movies. We associate ourselves with others, cry and feel for them. It is known fact that social deprivation causes deep psychological pain. So is the social rejection. The opposite of empathy also exists. When we feel bad about others, like genocide and ethnic cleansing are all examples of such negative emotions of actions against outgroups. Despite of these bad examples, which left dark scars in human history, we cannot eliminate the basic truth that we need each other. In our known past of thousands of years, we have seen scientific developments like never before. Now the question rightly comes going forward, what we will be. That's the last chapter of this book. And one of the fundamental ability of human brain is to adapt. and adjust to its situations, environment, or I can say change. This is known as brain plasticity. Unlike a computer hardware, brain is live wire. It's a liveware, it's not hardware. It reconfigures its circuitry. Brain plasticity opens doors for a dialogue between metal electrodes and brain cells. And this is already happening. The physical disabled persons are getting electrical sensation in the form of vibrations that can translate vision, sound, and other disabilities. Both brain and technology are evolving, and there is no limit to the extent we can go from here. Another important point is preserving the years-long research and knowledge that a person has in his brain, instead of just letting him bury or burn it. The brain has a lot in it, but unfortunately we cannot make a connection at the moment. If we can make a connection, retrieve and make use of it, then we might see this happening. Then in my opinion, if it will happen, then we'll be able to create a database of knowledge that will not only retain the data of that person who died, we can process it, but adjust according to situation, as we learned that brain is liveware and not the hardware of a computer. So it's not only database, it's much more than that, but we have not reached to that time. Brain is a powerful tool, more than our biological being. Our body is holding it back and limiting it with physical laws. Imagine a time when the brain can transform into something else or simulate itself into something in a physical world that it can travel and sustain under impossible physical environments. If this will happen, it will be taking us beyond the skies and experience something that we can only dream with inside our brain universe. As for the brain, sky is not the limit. Thank you.